Hello, TCI family. Happy Monday. This is getting broadcast, of course, the next day due to some sort of a computer glitch or something. Down here at my favorite location in Everett, as you can see, gorgeous out here with all the boats right next to the Navy station here. Today we're going to talk about an interesting topic. We're going to talk about belief and what that means to believe. I don't know if the clip's going to be in the broadcast tonight when they publish it, but there was a small clip we took earlier of the 20 prescription pills that actually keep my body alive after having had 4 heart attacks, 2 strokes, 32 mini strokes, and now, unfortunately, last week, a 33rd mini stroke. And then I showed the bag next to it with another, gosh, it must have been a total of 30 more prescription meds that they have, and those are what they call as needed. So you got side effects from one medication on the heart, and that's okay, and your valve's got an issue, so you have to take another pill to do that. And that's what the pharmaceutical and doctor world does. And I'm not slamming doctors or the pharmaceutical companies. I'm just telling you the facts of a man who used to be 450 pounds and was told that he'd never walk again, talk again, or eat again. Well, I'm, of course, talking, eating, and walking. So apparently those doctors didn't understand the word belief. And that's what we're going to talk about. What does it mean to believe? Christmas, you guys know, I had COVID and I had a pulmonary embolism while in there. So after spending about just shy of a week in the ICU, I got out and they told me I'd have only one lung function because my other lung shut down. And I can't go climb mountains. As you all know, I go climb mountains every weekend. I take a group of ex-cons on hikes up these mountains to try to teach them a lot of lessons that they need that, well, they just didn't get it. They didn't have parents. They were brought up in the system. They got all kinds of excuses, but I don't let them make these excuses. I just get them out there and say, here's the real deal. Here's how you live a life that's a good life. You don't need to do drugs. You don't need to rob people. You need to learn some good habits. And that's one of the things that we do with these organizations. So when the doctor said, well, you're not going to go ahead and do any mountain climbing this year, any big ones. And I said, well, that's not an option. Okay. So there's an opportunity here. And what I call an opportunity are what you guys, most people out there in the world, call problems. I don't have problems. I have opportunities. And that's how you look at things. It's your perspective. What is your mindset? Sorry about the crazy hair and the bandana and all that. I got to go work out. So after this. But here's the thing. What is your perspective? Are you a quitter? Are you a crier? Do you throw in the towel? Do you complain? I picked up one of my guys from a job site today, and he's like, I'm sore. And I said, stop it. Stop. If you don't want to be sore anymore, then start learning to work out your muscles. Okay? If you don't want to be tired, start doing things to not be tired. If you're tired of being poor and broke, do things to no longer be poor and broke. Change your habits. Change your investing habits. Change your spending habits. There's a lot of things you can do. If you said, well, listen, I'm tired of the relationships. It's like I get a relationship and it falls apart. Then you need to change things. And it's usually not in anyone else, but right here. See, when I need to lose weight, I don't look at anyone else around me and say, well, what do you feed me tonight? It's your fault. You call your wife. It's all your fault, honey. You made me fat. No, she might have cooked the meal and put the ice cream on a bowl, but you did not have to eat it, okay? Well, I've been so busy, my wife or my husband. My husband, he doesn't do anything, so I got to do everything. Oh, Lord have mercy. Stop making excuses. I have no time to pray. I know that, Pastor, you tell us we should meditate and pray for at least 15 minutes a day, that it'll change our lives. It will. And I don't have time for that. Okay. Keep on suffering. That's fine. It's okay if that's your plan, because that's what continues to happen if we make excuses. You don't have time or money. In my sales career, I loved that. There was really only 2 things that stop people from buying something. Do you know what they were? Time and money. I don't have the time to do this. I don't have the money to do this. I would always call BS on it. No, you do have the time. What if I told you that tomorrow morning I will give you $1 billion? All you need to do is And whatever it is I want you to do for the night, I want you to go work at this job site. I want you to drive your car from here to there. You will find time to get it. So don't tell me you can't find time. You choose not to find time. I own not one, not two, but 3 companies that I have founded, and they are fully running and functioning. One of them is now a $1 million company. One of them is a 6-figure company. Another one has just started to, so we're not really sure where it's at. I've got the church. I've got my personal life. I've got my investments in my life, my education, my future, my things. I can go on and on. My health. I've got an organization that is opening up across the globe with houses for men and women coming out of prison. I have about a 20-hour workday. I just don't have time, right? I could say that. I could say, you know what? I got a call from a friend of mine. He just got out of prison. He did 20 years, okay? He's living in his car. He's calling for help. Now, I could call and say, you know, man, I'm really busy. I just don't have the time, you know? You got to understand, as a pastor, I'm busy, and I got this going on, and I got my companies, and I got too much. Hogwash. Excuses. And everyone's got them, okay? We can make excuses all day long, or we can change our mindset, and in changing the mindset, what happens? It's real simple. We change the outcome. And if you want a good outcome, we need to change our mindset to a good mindset. But the mindset we're talking about today is called belief. What do you believe? Doctor said, well, you're not going to have your lung. Guess what? I want you to let you know right now, today, as I stand out here before the beautiful Puget Sound as they're towing something, I have 2/3 of the lung that wasn't functioning properly back. 2/3. Doctor's like, that's a miracle. No, stop telling me it's a miracle. It's not a miracle. I put my mind, my heart, my faith all together and said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So I'm not going to tell anybody, you know, the doctor says you have a stroke. It's not that I don't believe that I had a stroke. I know I had a stroke. I knew I had the stroke when it happened. So then what is it that I didn't believe? What I didn't believe was the actual report. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, whose report are you going to believe, the enemy or God's? That's a great question. And what it means by the enemy is, whose report are you going to believe? You're never going to walk again. You're never going to see again. You're never going to be able to talk again. If I believed the doctors, I'd be sitting back in a bed in another county, in another part of the state, and immobilized for the rest of my life. And might be able to get a little movement, get into that. I had a wheelchair, you know, so I could function in a wheelchair, but that was it. I refused to say, no, that's unacceptable. I will walk, I will talk, I will play my guitar, I will learn those things that I've spent decades learning. I'll relearn them all. And I did it. And then what happened next? Real simple. I had a second stroke, and I lost it all. So, I mean, I could have said, that's it, man, I'm done. I'm tired of sitting here and doing the same stuff over and over just to get it taken away by another stroke? No, you know what I said? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7, written by one of the wisest kings in the world, King Solomon. Not a Christian, by the way, just want to point that out. And so, Solomon, an amazing man, said, whatever we think on all day long, that's what we become. And that's the way I speak that verse. Whatever you think on all day long is what you become. So what are you going to become? Are you going to become a poor man? A divorced man? Are you going to become a woman who just throws in the towel and doesn't care? Are you going to become a person who just says, it's too difficult for me, can't do that? See, if you use the word can't in your vocabulary, then you're right. You can't do that. See, all I had to do for Christmas was say, nope, I can't do it. And right when I got out, that first week, I spent a week dying in a bed practically at my house. When that was done, what happened? I got out and I climbed a mountain. I had a couple partners that go with us and from our organization, and they're part of our church. They went to make sure I was okay, and I love that. Great men looking out for me. Good friends, good family, or family as we call each other. Made it up that mountain, a little longer than the normal time to get up there. The lung that was good burned really bad because of, I don't know, pushing it too hard. Who knows? Now, everyone told me, don't do that, don't do that. But here's the funny part. Now that I did it, the people that were saying don't do that are going, oh, wow, See, he's amazing. He pushes himself. But no, I stop and say, stop it. Don't be a hypocrite. You told me not to do it. You said, you shouldn't do that. It's dangerous. Absolutely it was dangerous. And so sitting in the ER and sitting in a hospital bed, go on a respirator. Every person I know that's been on a respirator so far with the COVID, they've all died. Everybody I know has passed on that was on a respirator. Family and friends. So you have choices. You have a mindset. Now listen, don't send me a bunch of mail saying, well, the people who died on COVID didn't have a chance. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have a mindset. And what is yours going to say? When they tell you you'll never talk again because you've had a stroke. My legs didn't function this week. I fell in front of some dear friends. And then the next day I fell again. And then they did the blood work. And then they found out, hey, you had a small stroke. Okay, that kind of stinks. It wasn't a big one. We averted that, thank God. So what? Now what? Well, we probably should have you do this and do that. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. I'll be at the gym each day that I have set up to go to the gym. I will go out and get my 4 miles in for the day. I will hit that walking stair machine where you literally climb the stairs to practice for the mountains. I will be out there this weekend camping on top of a mountain. The first day in the rain and cold, and the second day it's snowing, so it's going to turn to some slush and ice. And I'll be out there with my guys and the church members that are coming and the gals, and we're going to have a wonderful time. Because my mindset says, I can do anything through God. And I can. And so can you. See, God is in you. Jesus, the Christ, he made a statement. Here's what he said. He said, you will go on to do greater things than I. Now, this cat did a lot of stuff. And we're supposed to go and do greater than he did. Which means we have the power. And if you follow this church, you know our beliefs. That's because God is in you. You are the child of God, the creator, the great architect, mother of earth, father of all. It is real simple. God and the power of that creation is in you. And you have that power. So if you want to go out there and raise the dead, well, go for it. I was dead. And God raised me up. Not because I sat there quietly and said, I'll never do it again. It's not going to happen. I won't be able to learn all this stuff over. No, because I said I can, I will, I'm going to. Now, some of those things I never got back, and I know it's funny because I met a guy who knew me from way back when, and he said, so, you didn't get all the stuff back, did you? And I said, no, I didn't. He said, I told you so. He was very aggressively excited to tell me I failed. I told you would never get back all that stuff. So I said, hang on a second. You know, I have the list that I sat down and typed out with you when that happened. And out of that list, I only got 60% of the stuff back. I still have some glitches in the old memory, trying to remember certain things. A lot of it's my short-term memory. You tell me something an hour from now, I have no clue you said it. I've had a movie I watched with a friend in the theater, and a couple of the members from the church when we went and watched a movie a few months back. No clue. Don't remember the movie. Don't remember going with the people. There are certain things about my short-term memory, I don't have it back. So I am... had to find a way to get around that. Lots of memos, lots of notes, great assistant, and you can overcome it. But look what I did get. So, and that's the key. You see, if you dream a dream so big that you fail, but you fail because you dreamed so big. I wanted to get here and get everything back, but I only got here. So did I fail or did I succeed? Well, I failed. I didn't get the goal. But see, everyone else that was in that stroke rehab, they got up to about here. So why is that? Well, they got up to only here for one simple reason. They didn't have a goal. They're just like, well, we'll just do what the doctor says and hope it works. Not me. I don't care what the doctor said. I'm going to walk again. I'm going to talk again. I'm going to learn the guitar again. I'm going to go ahead and run my businesses again. I'm going to be a world speaker again. I am going to be back on the world stage. I will build another church, and it will be this and that. And so I had all of that up here in the mindset. And again, I failed. I didn't hit it, but I got here. And in that failure, well, I'm a success. Now, I'm not bragging. I'm trying to show you through an example of my life. I don't talk this stuff. I don't get on, the video here and tell you this stuff because I think it's a good idea. Oh, I read it in the book somewhere. Let me tell you something. This is who I am. It's tattooed under my watch right there in Hebrew. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if you think you're burnt, if you think you're done and you think you can't do it, you're done, you're burnt, and you can't do it. How can I open all these companies? How can I build these things? How can I employ people? How can I build a church that's going to take care of the unemployed, the homeless, the men and women coming out of prison, the executives to help them? How can we take care of grandma and grandpa? How can we help raise our children in these communities and be part of that? How can we set an example? There's a lot of stuff, but I have no limitations because in my heart, I believe. And all day long, I think on those things. I meditate on the success of the church and all the people in it. I think of you guys, the ones that write me and send emails and say, hey, how do we overcome this? Every day I'm thinking about how we can overcome those things together. And in that is the success. It's not me. It's the system that God, the Creator, put in place. And men like King Solomon, great, known as one of the wisest men of all time, who wrote the book called Proverbs, it's because of men like that showing you there's a pattern. And if you follow this pattern, you will be successful. And successful doesn't mean money. I had a person send me a message last week. You sure talk about success a lot. Absolutely. Success is everything. And if you think it's not, then you really are a lot more in trouble than you might believe. What do I mean by that? It's not monetary. No. One of my followers of our church that can't visit and be in person, she's a mom, and she got a job and a career. She worked really hard for it, and so she took it. But to do it, her husband had to become the stay-at-home dad. And they agreed. Now, here's the interesting thing. The dad, he failed at being a stay-at-home dad because it just wasn't his. He didn't have the training. He didn't have the skills. So he wasn't successful. Their marriage started to take a hit. The kids were taking a hit. Everything was falling apart and not being successful. There was no success in the kids' school. There was no success in his marriage because when they did get home, she was always arguing. He was always arguing because he wasn't successful. Why was he not successful? He needed someone to mentor him. Somebody who has a housewife or a house dad. Somebody who can say, here's how you do it. So it is about success. You see, God wants you to be successful in your marriage. He wants you to be successful in your relationship with Him. If you don't talk to God, if you don't seek out after the great architect, that is not being successful. You will fail, my friend. You can go to 6,000 church services a year. If you are not trying to be successful in your spiritual walk with God, you're going to fail. I'm sorry to tell you that. You have to make a decision to try to be successful in all areas in your life. Now, you're going to miss the mark all the time. Again, you know the word I just used, miss the mark, which is the original word used in the Greek for the word sin. So all the preachers who talk about you're sinning, you're sinners, you're a sinner, they're just saying you missed the mark. But they like to use the word sin because it's scary and it makes you think, oh my God, I sinned. Oh no. But here's the thing. I miss the mark all the time. Usually when I'm driving. That's when I really get most of my anger out on the freeways. People are just mean out there. Are they? Or is it me? See, I can't blame the guys driving that cut me off because it's my decision to react bad, poorly, or good and wisely. So these are all decisions we have to make. What are you going to believe in? What do you believe in? Do you believe you can overcome the obstacle of alcoholism? Do you believe you can make it day to day without having to worry about taking that drink? How about my friend who's 20 years in prison, now out, living in a car? I said to him, I don't have the house right now. Our organization, TCI, is in the process of purchasing a house for that purpose because we have about 6 people right now in King County, in Seattle area, that need a place to live, and they can make their monthly payments because they have their Social Security, disability, or they have their job, but they're living in a car and they're out of prison and it's tough and they're trying not to go back to the drugs and the gangs and selling things that are illegal. They're trying to make this effort, but society just keeps kicking them down and don't care. Society's like, not my problem. Well, it'll be your problem when they rob your house blind. It'll be your problem then. Trust me. And now, I know you're like, oh, that's not right. That's their problem. Is it? Am I my brother's keeper? That's an interesting question. Well, of course I'm my brother's keeper, Pastor. I take care of my brother. If he needs something, who's your brother? Did not the Christ say that all of these people are our brothers? And so that's the part that's important, is we keep forgetting that. And so the message of belief is, what do you believe? So if you're going to continue to say, well, I'm never going to achieve that goal, I won't get my degree, I'm not going to ever walk again, then you're never going to get your degree and you're never going to walk again. Had I listened to that doctor, I never would have recovered from the stroke, and I'd be sitting in that bed still, not talking, not walking. Because why? Well, I had a stroke, you don't understand. You know what? Good Lord have mercy. I've had 2 strokes and 32 mini strokes, and now throw on another one. So what? I don't care if I've had all those strokes. It will never stop me. I will climb, or attempt to climb, Mount Everest someday. That's my goal for climbing. My climbing partners aren't even going to go. Well, actually, they said they'd go. They said they'll stay at base camp. And that's cool, okay? It's not a mountain to climb because, let's be honest, every 6 people that go up, 2 die. But it's a goal that I'm going to do. And you know what? I don't often miss my goals. And it's not because I'm some great person. No, I'm just like you. I'm a man, flawed, with many faults. And every day I mess up and I miss the mark. I just don't try to ever miss it twice. And if I do, I try to miss it a little less each time, so that hopefully someday when I'm older and I'm sitting back, I don't miss that mark anymore. I don't miss the mark anymore. And hopefully at that point, the great architect of all of this says, great job, good and faithful servant. I never liked the word servant back in the day. I used to say, that's a horrible word. But no, I do want to be a servant. I want to serve you. I want to serve God. I want to serve her. I want to do what I can to serve my fellow man because I am my brother's keeper. And I will try to do what I can. And you know what? We've got the monthly payments. We've got the credit for the church to get the house. We just need the down payment. Now, how am I going to get that? Well, I've got companies and we're working to make that happen. But we're hoping we'll get some volunteers from our church that might say, look, we can help out. Let's throw you $10,000. Let's get you $20,000 as a down payment. Let's see what we can do to help take care of our brothers and sisters out there. Because we believe. And that's the part I want you to listen to today. I'm going to wrap this up with this simple statement. Whatever we think on all day long is what you're going to become. So if all you think about is failure, then that's all you're going to become. If all you think about is food, you're going to be fat. If all you think about is drugs, you're going to be a drug addict. So what do? We got to change our stinking thinking. And trust me too, I have a lot of stinking thinking still. And so do you. We got to work on that. I love you guys. God loves you. You know the drill. Live positive. But this week, as we live positive, let's try to work on belief and believing in ourselves, believing in those around us, knowing that we are our brother's keeper. That doesn't mean it's your problem to fix all of society. That's not what that is. It means it's your job. If you have the ability to help a person, that we do that. And we try to help them improve their life. There's people that don't want to change, and I'm not going to help them. I got a lot of guys that don't care. They don't want to stop doing drugs, and I'm not going to put money and resources and time into that person. When they're ready, when they hit the rock bottom, they'll call, they'll come running, and they'll say we need help. And if they're sincere and they're ready to change, that's my brother, and I'm ready to help lift him up. So let's go out there this week, and let's see how we can change the world that we're in and that our little sphere of influence that we have by belief. I love you guys. God loves you. You know the drill. Go out there and live positive.